God can. Find out what God can do in this episode of 5 Minutes Closer. I'm Vaughn Weatherford, and this is 5 Minutes Closer. For the next 5 minutes, let's explore some biblical truths and apply them to your life. No podcast, including this one, can transform your life or give you what you really need. Only Jesus can do that. You can find out why in what I've called the first five episodes of 5 Minutes Closer. Each following episode explores scriptural truths that, if you follow them, will bring you 5 minutes closer to the person God created you to be. Let's see if we can get you 5 minutes closer. The church I served in Texas wanted to create a prayer garden in its courtyard. A woman in the church who heard about the project called and said she had a decorative rock in her garden she would like to donate. Our building supervisor asked me and another guy to go to her house and bring the rock back to the church. We took his small Datsun pickup. When we arrived at her house, the lady's decorative rock was a boulder that weighed about 600 pounds. There was no way we could lift a 600-pound boulder. Even if we could, there was no way we could fit it in the back of his pickup, a fact I'm sure his pickup suspension was very grateful for. However, this woman insisted we take her rock to the prayer garden. We finally apologized to her and told her, "Ma'am, that's just more than we can do." Cain had run up against something that was more than he could do. He had murdered his brother, lied to God, and now faced the consequences. When he realized that this was more than he could bear, something amazing happened. It's recorded in Genesis chapter 4, beginning with verse 13. Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me today away from the ground, and from your face I shall be hidden. I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." Then the Lord said to him, "Not so. If anyone kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold." And the Lord put a mark on Cain, lest anyone who found him should attack him. Cain realizes that he's made a huge mistake. Instead of drawing closer to God, Cain was further away from his presence. Instead of establishing himself on the land, he would be a wanderer without a home. Besides that, the numbers were not good. Adam and Eve were still populating the earth, so anyone he met would be closely related to Abel, the guy he just murdered. There would be no hiding in anonymity. Without family, without friends, and without God, he was in trouble. He was not overstating that it was more than he could bear. Cain had brought all of this on himself. His family hated him because he had murdered one of the family. Cain had broken his relationship with God because he did not understand the purpose of sacrifice. He thought it was a way to advance himself rather than a way to worship God. Now he had neither family nor God. He'd lost everything. Then God steps in. God was not excusing Cain's actions. He'd already expressed in verse 10 that Abel's blood cries to me from the ground. But as Derek Kidner writes in his commentary about Genesis, God's concern for the innocent is matched by his mercy towards sinners. In God's provision for Cain, we see a foreshadowing of God's ultimate provision for everyone that's recorded in John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. God gave his Son on the cross so that we might have forgiveness and everlasting life. We didn't deserve that any more than Cain did, yet God did it for you. God did what only God can do. What will you do in response? Because now you're 5 minutes closer. My prayer is that these 5 minutes have challenged you, inspired you, and caused you to consider applying God's message for your life from His Word. To find out more, visit our website at 5minutescloser.com. Join me next time to see if we can get you 5 minutes closer.